But before we start, we will start with the NFL. We got to talk about the breaking news. We're in Atlanta, and Julio Jones doesn't want to be a Falcon anymore. On Undisputed this morning, Shannon Sharp called Julio Jones. Julio just told him straight up, "Yeah, I don't want to be there, man. I don't see myself being there." He said he don't want to be a Cowboy as well. So, and they said the Falcons are. Julio told the Falcons earlier in the month, according to Ian Rappaport, that he didn't want to be there. He wanted to get traded. So they've been fielding offers. And Adam Schefter tweeted 6 hours ago, the Falcons prefer not to trade Julio Jones in the NFC, but would do so for the right price. Guys, where we consider Julio an all-time great Super Bowl throws, Super Bowl catches against the Patriots, just a big athletic Alabama great receiver, first round pick. Where will Julio Jones go?
My guess is Seattle, Green Bay, or that's really it.
Tell me why.
Honestly, well, I just feel like those guys will probably be able to give the Falcons what they will want ultimately, like realistically at this time. Everyone else is pretty much either knocked themselves out the race, or I don't think they'll be willing to spend as much. But if you think about it, two great quarterbacks that, they're looking to take the next step in their careers. Like, I would be pushing to get an all-time great receiver in Julio if I was Russ or Aaron at this given moment. But, you know, that's pretty much my take on it.
Okay. Demond?
I'd have to say after looking at the cap this afternoon that I think Tennessee is the most likely to land his spot. I think if they're willing to come off draft picks, Mike Vrabel being a player's coach and knowing that those guys already want. I mean, Derrick Henry is already working out with Julio, same trainer. AJ Brown, that's his idol, already said he come up with 11. Picture swap photo. If you look closely at AJ Brown's jersey, I think they play like week 4. It says, "Please come to Tennessee." So this is something that he's wanted for the longest. So I think it'd be interesting. They gave Tannehill money a while back and just invest in that. And this is a team not too far removed from an AFC Championship appearance. So you're looking at the Bills last season to say in that game, you don't really feel like they really had a chance to beat the Chiefs. Maybe you go back to the Titans formula. Derrick Henry, he's going to be a monster in the postseason. But now you can't stack the box because you're leaving one-on-ones with Julio and AJ Brown.
For me, I was kind of leaning towards maybe a division rival for the Tennessee Titans. I was thinking the Colts, getting Carson Wentz, his best receiver he has ever had in his career, just helping him in Indy. I know Michael Pittman was coming on strong at the end of the season, but he is still developing to that star receiver at this point. We're getting a guaranteed threat with Julio Jones staying healthy. And similar to the Titans, the Colts are they are a run dominant team with Jonathan Taylor as well, Marlon Mack, and have a great defense to support them and they have conference championship aspirations in the AFC. So I think the Colts aren't a question. And also like New England, getting Mac Jones or Cam Newton, a true number one wide receiver threat, haven't had since Edelman maybe or Randy Moss, depending on how you want to slice it up. So maybe I don't think they'll trade him in conference. I don't think they want to see Julio in the NFC unless they have to see him. So I think out of conference, I like the Colts or the Patriots. Carter, what about you?
I also think out of conference makes sense. I don't. Every powerhouse team in the NFC already kind of made their bid or signed their death wish as far as cap goes with money. So no good team in the NFC will be able to really get him. Like actively was good last season. The Bucks can't get him. The Saints can't get him. Packers can't get him. Seahawks can't get him. Any of those teams, I feel like they have to trade something that they don't want to trade to get them just to make the money work. So, and then like Seattle situation, they don't have no picks this year, and I know the Falcons are in they're not saying they're rebuilding, but they're rebuilding. So they want draft compensation, like immediate draft compensation, not 2023 or 2024. They need it now. And based on their GM and where he coming from that Saints umbrella, I know how he's thinking. Not know, but if he's thinking how our organization is run, then he's thinking immediate. Like he's not thinking 2-3 years. He's thinking soon because he knows his job as a black GM. He can't really do too much messing up. So in terms of where I'll say I agree with you with the New England. I don't really know too much about the Titans situation. The Titans make sense though. I know Derrick Henry said he want them, so that'll make sense. But Patriots are my number one, and if I had to pick an NFC team, I'd go with the Niners.
How do we feel about Julio being 32 years old? He's an aging elite. We still consider Julio elite. I don't know if that's out of respect for Julio, but things like that. But he has been plagued with injuries in his career that hasn't played a complete season. Do you still think his value is a first round pick, as though these reports are saying?
Probably not a first, but somewhere in that second to third round pick range, I would say, realistically, just because of the injury history. I mean, I don't know. He didn't play many games last year, but it just goes to show you, like, at this given stage, he does need to go to a run dominant team. Just being less wear and tear on the body, like the mom was saying earlier, and it just makes the most sense. But yeah, he's not worth a first right now. I can't do that. 32 injuries, can't give up a first.
I think talent, as far as teams knowing who they're getting outside, uh, the attention that Julio does bring when he's on the field is going to warrant them a first. There's things to think about in terms of if it was to be a second and third round pick. You have to consider Julio's contract. You also have to consider if there's injury history and will he be available for you. As I was speaking to in the chat, if a team like the Ravens was to emerge as a candidate for him, their run philosophy is not going to change. Julio is just going to come in and be a number one where teams have to respect him on the outside. So a franchise looking to bring Julio services in, they're probably going to have to come off at first, but they're going to have to make it worthwhile. And I think a team like the Ravens or the Titans, knowing what he would bring to your offense, it has to be worthwhile.
For me, I'm leaning towards like we talked about it a little bit with when the Rams traded for Stafford and how they see themselves as a postseason team, so they don't need their first because their first always going to be in their minds a late 20 or early 30s. So I think if he goes to a team that's contending for a championship realistically, then that team should pull that trigger. But if you're a team that's like, oh, we had a receiver, we can potentially go. If it's not guaranteed, I don't think that team should give up that first. A second or third in that tandem will be better. But if you're like the teams that are favorites, like the Buccaneers, Rams, Chiefs, Ravens, you're one of those that you feel like you're guaranteed to make it to the conference championship game. I think then you could give up a first for Julio.
You don't think he worked the first?
It depends what team.
I'm saying, but if you the Falcons, do you give him up for anything less than the first?
Um,
You know what they say, like when you get in divorce, it's cheaper to keep her. If I can't get you for a first, I'll keep you.
I think we could. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think. If you're right. If you're the Falcons, you would go.
Based on the previous deals, a first wouldn't probably be necessarily looking at DeAndre Hopkins, who's probably at this point surpassed Julio as the best in the undefined best receiver in the league. So, but he went for a third.
Second and David Johnson.
You feel me? So, but I know
Disrespectful.
what you mean disrespectful.
I'm saying what they traded for Hop was disrespectful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So at this point, Julio, he said he want to be on a contender. So I mean, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Patriots not a contender though. That's the only reason why my mind didn't go there. If I had to pick,
but I think well, you're right. Then based on last season, they are on a contender. I think he does have a relationship with Cam though. I think that's his homie. I think everybody got great respect for Bill Belichick. So maybe he thinking, with me, we making the offs. But Julio, honestly, he's not gonna be on the field all 17 games. If he's not gonna play 17 or close to 17 games, then they won't be a playoff team. They won't be a contender. But as far
exactly.
as if he's saying contender like I think contender, then he's thinking Baltimore, which I would love to see.
That's the only thing that would really make the most sense. But I don't know. I don't know Baltimore's situation.
I don't think they trade him to Kansas City, and I don't think Kansas City would need him. They really do.
No.
But I mean, they plug him in though, and they keep him on anything like they let Tyreek and Miko handle the deep stuff and let him do the mid-range passes. Goodness, that'll open it up for them. But I think as far as contender in his mind, Ravens, that would make sense. And I feel like the Ravens didn't address the receiver need like they should have. I don't think they made the right picks to me to be like.
Bateman nice though.
I like Bateman. I like Sammy Watkins. Well, formerly, I like old Sammy Watkins. I don't know what Sammy Watkins we getting. I like Tylen Wallace a little bit, but I don't think they made the right decision for a number one receiver. None of those guys say number one to me. Hollywood switching back to 5 don't make him a number one either. So
and that's he needs to produce on the field. I don't know what he's been doing, but he needs to produce. I think Bateman hasn't.
Yeah.
Bateman got a chance for sure to be a number one, but you got to get out there and play, bro. But Bateman's nice.
I think
we'll see.
Is like, I'm number. Well, everybody know Julio Watkins. He's like, I'm the number one. Hi guys, but I think they could benefit from that. That could help them in the long run.
Exactly. You seen what that did for Calvin Ridley? Now he the number one. Learning underneath that boy Julio. I mean, he was already nice.
Words of my friend Carl, my boy. I got 7 Life Carl on Twitter. I got to shout my boy out. Him and the once in a lifetime tight end gonna have fits when Julio's gone because Julio used to demand a double with a bump, all kind of stuff. Now it's gonna be, show me how good you are.
I think them going down makes sense, knowing that they was gonna move out Julio in the summer. Now it makes sense.
That makes the pick make more sense. And they probably just didn't want to release that information before the draft, not to make fans mad or whatever. But the Pitts pick makes sense. I still think they might regret not getting Jamar, but the Pitts pick makes sense.
Only time will tell.
Yeah. If you knew you was losing.
Other receiver. So who's
Russell Gage?
He's gonna be number 2 now.
They got Cordell Patterson too in free agency.
Stop, Bruiser.
That's ugly.
I'm being serious. That's
the kick return specialist.
They still got Hayden Hurst too. The backup Pitts. Or maybe they both play 2 tight end sets. Arthur Smith coming from Tennessee. John Smith got active. Especially in the red zone, he gets creative. Maybe that's what they bring into Atlanta.
Did they let Todd Gurley walk?
Yeah, he's not there anymore. Mike Davis time.
Oh yeah, he finna eat.
They drafted a running back too. A pretty good running back, a decent college running back. He's pretty fast. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ride with Russell Gage is the number 2 for Tigers.
NFLSU. Last thing before we go to the NBA. How did you guys?
One more thing. I want to point that out. That's a crazy starting lineup at the receiving core because you're number 1 receiver Alabama, number 2 LSU, and your tight end is Florida. Just
And if they trash, it's the SEC fault.
You only produce elite talent, sir.
Not the Boston College quarterback, not the ACC fault. We're not gonna blame him.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's a Hall of
It's really nice. Yeah, he's a Hall. They need to protect him better.
They really blame Matt for a lot of their problems, and I know people are sad to see Julio leave, but as a fan who's seen some of favorite players lead the team, it'll get better. It's okay.
This usually happens.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah, don't stay with you. Michael Thomas, he might be on the way out soon.
The quarterback wins. Quarterback always wins.
Russell Wilson leaves.
They're good.
Be on the looking out. And Tyler Lockett, ain't that right, Demar?
Nope.
Last thing, NFL. How'd you guys feel about people was a little uproar on Twitter that Shannon Sharp called Julio, and he said it on there. People think, well, did Julio know, or did they've had this planned out? Personally, I think it was planned out. I know AJ Brown tweeted that that was lame with what you did, but I do think that Julio and him talked about it going on there. And maybe it could have went better, like the flow of it, but I think like their mission was to him to finally say, I don't want to be there anymore.
Do people not know that Julio, people not know that Shannon Sharp's on TV between the hours of 7 and 11 on a Monday through Friday?
I don't know that.
No. where else he gonna be? That's his job. Like it ain't like it's a secret job. Like people work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. I know what you're doing between the hours of 9 to 5. I won't call you, or you won't call me. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like oh, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back. Like we'll say that. Shannon called him before, and he said, "I'm gonna call you back." And then they said Julio called him. Is that not what happened? From what I heard, it was Julio was returning the call. So if he called me, I'm gonna answer. You know where I'm at. But again, I think it was planned too. I don't think he would have did that, put him in the spot like that. And anybody that got a comment about it could have, tried to find out about it before they say something. But everybody want to run on Twitter and be the big dog and call somebody lame. How about you go catch some balls in practice?
Scathing hot take.
What about you, Demai? How you felt about it, bud?
The man's phone was literally connected to the studio audio. That tells you all you need to know.
No.
Exactly. I'm like, dog, Shannon is a professional, bro. Like, he wouldn't do that. And he's an advocate for players.
He knows.
Like,
he knows him.
And like I seen a report that said Julio's been telling them for months now that he wanted to be out. So he probably feel like, yo, I need to put some fire under their behind. So, like, this was the way to do it.
Plus,
I like it.
Took a picture with the Cowboys shirt with the fan that was making the rounds on social media too. So I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I think it comes down to this too. They said they can't trade until after June 1st. What's next week?
June 1st.